Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to this Wednesday, the 23rd of July. I hope you're doing well as we look at the markets and what's happening there. We'll Good morning, folks. Welcome to this Wednesday, the 23rd of July. Glad to be with us today. Let's have a great show. Let's talk about what's happening, and Dave and I will be right back.
English Morning, Dave. We're at 8:41 here, 19 now before 9. Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation. And it's time to check in on your money and find out what's happening on Wall Street with our friend Phillip Statler from Statler Financial Services in downtown Sebring. Fun day yesterday, Phillip, wasn't it?
Hey, it was, it ended up being not a bad day at all, except for the Nasdaq. They suffered just a little bit, but still, in terms of ups and downs, it wasn't a bad down like 0.4%. So, nothing to get all crazy about for sure.
No, it really wasn't. Blue chips recovered a little bit. The Dow had been kind of lagging the party for the last few days. The Dow was up 179 points. That was 0.4%, kind of offsetting NASDAQ. Standard & Poor's, okay, fine, 0.06%, up $4.02, but when we're talking about numbers as high as they are these days, that set another closing record for the S&P 500. And the index you and I periodically talk about, the Russell 2000, the little stocks, which I probably ought to be following more because the company I used to work for is in that one. But their benchmark, it's now approaching its first golden cross in 18 months. That's when the short-term average gets above the 200-day average, and that's considered an indication of a real bullish attitude on traders. So, boy, just about everything's coming up relative roses this morning as far as the indexes are concerned, aren't they?
Yeah, it really is. And looking at the futures, I definitely agree. All solid green ink right now.
Absolutely. We're generally getting relatively good news out of the big stocks that are reporting as well. I mean, the financials are always our chief bellwether in the bunch, and almost to a stock, the financials, when they opened up the floodgates last week, pretty much all gave us good news. Granted, a big chunk of it was on investment trading income, sits on the ground because we've been going up and down so much that generates a lot of commissions for their investment divisions. But still, so far, this has looked like a pretty good earnings season, and we'll get a bigger picture at the end of the week when the last of the reports come in, because by then we'll have about close to two-thirds of the Standard & Poor's 500 in.
Yeah, we will. So, and then the other third kind of, moseys in over the next 2 months. But you're right, a big chunk of them come in this first month.
Absolutely. Yesterday, the Reddit gang went at it again. Open Door and Kohl's and Krispy Kreme now joins the fight. And I understand GoPro as well. That's that amateur investing group on Reddit where they all decide they're all going to either buy and sell together. And I gotta wonder whether or not the Securities and Exchange Commission has got to have their eyebrows tilted at the very least. Kohl's. It's a store that's been getting some problems lately because they're kind of sandwiched between the discounters and the high-end stores. Got to be a lot of short selling going on that because that is always the bellwether that prompts the Reddit gang to go after it. So what happens? They were up like 40% yesterday. Thank you, Reddit. We appreciate you.
Yeah, the article I'm looking at and the reports I've been reading, Kohl's wasn't really mentioned. It looked more at Krispy Kreme and
Mm-hmm.
GoPro.
Yep.
GoPro being, I think, the big winner right now. Pre-trading right now, it's up 88%, and
Holy crud.
it's a whole $2.58 stock.
But still, in terms of market capitalization, that's enough to make you sit up and take notice. Open Door wasn't quite as fortunate, I gather. They kind of went way up and then fell like a rock, didn't they?
Yeah, they will. And so, Open Door was one that was in favor for a little while. Now it's out of favor. They've decided to sell it, I guess. So it's down like 10% after it had a
Goodness.
huge run. I mean, I'm looking at the 52 week. Oh, this is funny. The 52-week low,
Uh-huh.
51 cents a share.
Mm. That's enough to
Compared
get
to
you
the
a D-list.
52-week high,
Uh-huh.
$4.97.
Oh, Lordy. Yeah, get down to the 50-cent range, you start getting delisting letters from the stock exchanges. They don't like that one tiny little bit. So we're going to have a few herky-jerky moves while the Reddit gang screw around with a bunch of companies that really don't deserve it, but they're getting it anyway. The big news was we got a whole bunch of tariff agreements in yesterday with President Trump. We kind of got bored when he announced deals with Indonesia and the Philippines because they're like the 23rd and 29th largest trading partners we got. But then around sunset last night, they announced that we'd struck a deal with Japan. They consider it good news over there, and I looked at what the Nikkei closed at. They were up like 3.5% on this news. We're keeping a 15% tariff on Japanese imports into our country, which probably means we're going to make a lot of tariff revenue off of them at the very least. Japan opens up more of their markets to us, and everything is peaceful in the valley with Japan for the moment, which I guess peace in the valley is good, even if it's going to end up raising our prices on all Japanese imports, right?
Yeah, that's if you think about it, that's a pretty hefty tariff. I'm not sure all the stuff we get from Japan, but I'm sure we still get quite a few of electronics and that type of stuff from Japan. So all that stuff will be going up. I don't expect corporate America to eat that whole 15%.
I was just saying, not only are the Japanese imports, it was bigger years ago before China became our primary high-tech producer, but you got to keep in mind, you just two big names alone, Toyota, Nissan.
Exactly. Yeah.
that,
The
that
auto
that's kind
industry.
of heavy stuff. Kind of heavy stuff coming out of Japan. Other tidbits out. I got this kind of a kick out of. GM admitted that they were probably going to get whacked pretty bad by tariffs, and that's not helping their stock any. The Bitcoin thing. It's not just a fad, evidently. Now PNC Bank announced yesterday they're going to tap into Coinbase and create crypto trading offerings for their traditional banking customers. That whole concept is getting almost mainstream these days, isn't it?
It is. It is. Every day somebody else is adding it to their list of services, and the more that happens, obviously, the more mainstream that's going to become for a currency that I don't know. I mean, I've watched how they do it, and I still don't know that I can explain it.
it's Somebody asked me to explain it. I said it's money that isn't really there. For what it's worth, we might be among the lone rangers as far as not being inexorably excited about it. Bitcoin is holding in there. It's off a little this morning, but I've got it trading at $118,585 for Bitcoin this morning. So it's obviously getting customers out there. The only other tidbit I got kind of a kick out of. Amazon announced yesterday that they've acquired B. It's an artificial intelligence wearable that just listens to absolutely everything you say, feeds it into ChatGPT so that your smartphone and your smart technology will just be that much smarter. I'm sorry. I really don't want anything listening to everything I say. Knowing my Alexa knows what I'm shopping for before I do it is bad enough.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't want something taking notes on every little thing I say and do. That would not be good for a lot of reasons, Dave.
Don't talk to yourself. You got a machine listening to you. Ann Landers used to say it's not unhealthy as long as you don't call yourself Your Highness. We're going through it, and now you can call a smart ring Your Highness if you want to. A lot of reports still coming in. The big one for the day is going to come in after the close, and that's Alphabet, the owner of Google, and everybody's all verklempt and excited about that. But we do have a bunch of household names that are reporting, Hasbro among them. How are the toy business doing?
Hasbro had an exceptionally good quarter. They beat substantially, came in at $1.30 a share versus 78 cents. And revenue is what really caught my eye. Revenue was $100 million more than expected. So some good news there on the fronts of Hasbro. They're trading up about 2.5%, but evidently they've got this Wizards business. I'm not sure what that is, but that helped them out substantially this last quarter.
I wonder if it's a Harry Potter tie-in. I'll admit I'm ignorant on it too.
Yeah, so another big stock, Hilton Worldwide. Hilton reported, and they did well. They beat by 16 cents a share, came in at $2.20. Revenue was slightly ahead of expectations. They raised their full year guidance, Dave, between $7.83 to $88, which is about 10 cents more than what they had before. But something in the report, I'm not seeing it, but something, because they're trading down a little over 2% this morning.
Well, shucks, that means I'm going to get more junk mail trying to sell me a timeshare from them.
That it does happen.
Yep.
As I said, we have AT&T reported. I don't have the details on AT&T, except for that expectations. They came in kind of as expected. They added more wireless subscribers than expected, but it was at a discounted bundle, which not good, I guess, on that side, because they had a good quarter, but they're falling this morning, down almost 3%.
Wow, I'm waiting for the wireless industry to stop using postpaid subscriber counts as being their primary macro, because with all the prepaid services out there, I got to believe it's becoming less and less important to the traditional wireless companies.
Yeah, and then the last one I have for you is Texas Instrument. That's just an old name that's been around for a long time. They had a good quarter. Earnings $1.41 versus $1.35 expected. Revenue ahead of expectations as well. However, this morning they are trading down 9.75%. Not sure what else is in that report that we're not seeing.
I also saw they'd raised their guidance, so I figured that you were probably going to have good news on TI this morning. That surprises me. Resetting the table, it was a generally positive day yesterday. NASDAQ accepted. Everything else was up, and we actually set a new Standard & Poor's 500 record. 45 minutes before we open this morning, what are we looking at?
A lot of green ink on the index side, Dave. Dow's up a little over 0.5%. S&P 500 is up a little over 1/3%. NASDAQ 100 is lagging a little bit. It's only up a little less than 0.1%. The Russell 2000, the big winner right now, it's up almost 0.75%. On the other side of the coin, silver, it is trying hard to get to $40 an ounce. It's at $39.79 an ounce right now. That's up 0.6%. Gold down 1/3%. Crude oil heading the right direction, Dave, down 0.5% this morning, $64.98 a barrel.
That indicates an event that we didn't know about. I didn't see anything that would have affected it that much, but it's good news. Looking across the pond, the Asian Rim was genuinely up on almost all the indexes. One of the two mainland Chinese indexes was off by a tinge. I mentioned earlier the Nikkei index in Japan over a trade settlement with us. They had a party. They were up 3.5% this morning. European indexes looking a little hopeful. They're hearing more trade deals out of us, getting a little bit more hope that things might happen. And Treasury Secretary Bessent had some good things to say as well. Average European index up by a little over a full percent halfway through their trading day. Getting my retirement together so I can actually plan to retire someday, maybe. Well, at least I can get my finances together with a little help from you. How do I find you to do that?
Dave, that's one reason I developed the core retirement design to offer folks the opportunity to see where they are when it comes to retirement. 30 minutes, ask the questions they want to ask about retirement and making sure they're on the right path to the retirement they've always dreamed of. They can give us a call at 863-877-1188. That's 863-877-1188. A little different number, but hey, it's one of the numbers we use here at Statler Financial. Give us a call there. And then, hey, check us out on the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM.
All righty, and we'll check you a little bit later on. Do appreciate it, my friend, and we'll see you shortly.
All right, man. Have a great day.
Be well. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Phillip Statler.
Imagine.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Have a great day. I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye now.